Hey guys, welcome to the Jen Lowry Writes YouTube channel. Today I have been asked to share some of my tech materials that I have purchased or have been gifted to me. Thank you to all my supporters out there. And I just want to share with you what I have because all of you that follow me know that I do everything on a budget. I am a teacher, so teacher salary, it's public, you know this, in North Carolina. So I'm always going to be looking for the best deal, but I still want to make sure that what I'm producing, the content is valuable. So number one, regardless of what tech that you have or what kind of setup you have, it's your content. That's your number one. What can you bring to your audience? How can you connect with your audience in an authentic way where they'll keep coming back? They'll keep, asking for more or helping to support you or just becoming a part of your tribe. So the content is number one. So I want to talk a little bit about that more than the equipment right now, just to give you a heads up that when you brand yourself, whatever it is that you're going to be, making a video for, whether it's for your for AuthorTube, whether you just want to have Facebook Lives, just to connect with your audience, just be real. Like I'm sitting right here in my pajamas, talking just like I would to a friend. I don't do anything scripted. I do take notes at times, like if I have equipment like today to share, I have it all set up for you so that way you can get the gist of everything I'm trying to say. You can keep this and come back to it for later. But I always keep a journal book beside me at all times. And I really just speak from my heart. I share my author journey. And trust me, it's really not hard to come up with content because it is a daily input of something. Like something is happening every single day in my author life. And my son, even yesterday, and we've had this conversation before, he'll go, "Aren't you bored, Mama?" I'm like, "Bored? No." Because when I'm, learning something, for example, about the author community or I'm growing in my craft, I want to share that with all of my listeners on the Jen Lowry Writes podcast. So not only am I learning for myself and for my own improvement to be a better writer than I was yesterday, I feel called to share out what I'm learning on a daily basis. And that's what the podcast is for. So I want you guys to know that setting up a podcast, it moved. I'm talking about equipment. It's because I did this in a hurry. Setting up a podcast is extremely easy in today's world. You can definitely go to anchor.com, set up your own, use your phone. And I do that. And guys, I'm telling you, I have over 11,000 followers and the only equipment that I have is my phone. So I have the app, the Anchor app, and it's so simple. So you see how you set up. These are the episodes. I have a recorded welcome. I have a thanks for supporting the Jen Lowry podcast where I get monetary donation supports each month. This was my end of season 3 reflections. Now I'm moving on into season 4. I've been making podcast episodes pretty regularly since May of 2018. And I think that's something else other than content that I want to encourage you about. When you're setting up anything more than equipment, I'm telling you, because I've had this phone, it's being able to deliver high quality content or just authentic content, even if you don't feel like what you have to share is like stellar. Being authentic about it and sharing your life and your journey while you're vlogging and doing it consistently will help you on whatever platform you're trying to build. So I have intensely built the podcast because that's like my area. I make a podcast every day on the way to work, and I make a podcast a lot of times in the afternoon on my drive home after I check in with my children. So I'm putting out quite a few podcasts each week. Now with my YouTube, I dropped off for a while. Now I'm trying to be more consistent with that, especially when I have a lot going on with Ingram Spark and my formatting tips and the tutorials. So I have been trying my best to do 1 to 2 videos a week and try to maintain that consistency. Any video influencer will tell you that that is a key, is your consistent putting in the time. So sometimes I have to weigh out, well, if I've already done a podcast, do I want to make a video too? So I go back and forth and look at, how many hours I have in the day. And you guys, now that my summer started yesterday, I have a little bit more hours in the day. So I'll be probably pushing out a lot more content, even though now I'm on chapter 8 of my new whip. So I can say I'm pretty sure I'm going to still be putting out a lot more content. If you can see here, I'm not the best at this, sponsored segment. I am sponsored. I've been sponsored by Brandless, Warby Parker. I've had Infatuation app. So I get sponsorships with Anchor as well. So right now I've got a full Anchor sponsorship, and I tag that onto each episode. And then I have a thank you, like just, our closeout where I challenge people to go out and write something inspiring. And I was saying that every day as my closing line. I was like, why don't I just record that? So I've learned over the past year. I didn't start out perfect. I'm still not perfect. But I know that that's not what my listeners even are waiting for. They're not waiting for Jen to show up with the perfect thing to say. They just want to say, hey, there's someone out there that's struggling, living it, accomplishing it, setting goals, and going after them. And so hopefully I can inspire people that way just by using my phone. So this is low tech, people. I do not have to do any editing other than just, popping in this plus sign, and that's my editing. I do have a logo that I created on Canva. So if you guys do not have Canva, I'm telling you now, it is free. I do pay for the account, but you really, because I like to have the image. I have a lot more images, but I always do Instagram post, because Instagram post saves and shares to everything without me having to do a resize. Now, the benefit of having Canva for the paid subscription, you can do Facebook banners, LinkedIn banners. You can see how you can have different ones. But let's say I like an Instagram post. Like, for example, do you see my post, my wallpapers and everything? I made that one time. And if you subscribe to Canva, you can hit resize and quickly just boom, 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 send it out. Sorry guys, I keep that on. So the Instagram post though, I really like using that, because with the Instagram post, I can use them as thumbnails for everything. And that goes along with the podcast. So I will occasionally make new thumbnails. I don't all the time because I'm busy. But if I have the time, I'll quickly make it. It'll take me 5 minutes to make a thumbnail, go in and change the image. I have Canva app on my phone because that's easier for me, because then I can create the image. It's easier to make them on the computer for me, but it's easier for me to then download it and then share it out on Instagram and everywhere. So I use that technique when I'm trying to share out all of my posts. But I did make my logo for the Jen Lowry Writes podcast on Canva, and I've changed it up just based on the colors, the way I was trying to do my color scheme on Instagram. I have changed it, just the color schemes, over the past year. But other than that, I've pretty much stuck with the logo. I'm trying to think with Canva. I also use this to make my YouTube dimensions. So if you let me scroll down, let me show you some of my YouTube. Okay, so this one, for example, I use this setup for the Pro Writing Aid tutorial with chapter 1. So when I do my tutorials, I come on here and I did the resize button, and it's perfectly sized for the thumbnail you need for your YouTube channel. And I keep this one, and all I do is start a new one, and I'll change the words, and I'll change this one background image, because I'm really trying to be consistent with my thumbnails on YouTube. I don't do them all the time though, because of, if it's late and I'm tired, I don't go in and make a thumbnail. I'll just use one of the suggested ones. But if you're branding yourself, trying your best to stay consistent, I think is key. So I'm giving you tips that I don't always follow. Another thing that I love, I wanted to show you like the tutorials, like what I'm doing right now, how I have this little screen in the corner, how I'm talking. I use Screencastify. Now, I used Screencastify for a long time, the free version. I used it for a very long time free, making a bunch of homeschool videos, putting them up on my Everyday Mom Challenge channel. I use it for work to make teacher tutorials, and I did it free for a long time. But as you can tell, I'm a talker. And so what would end up happening is I would have my 10-minute window, and then it would shut down. So yes, it is free, and you do have a certain amount that you can make in the free plan. But I definitely needed more than 10 minutes. So I went to move from this light. So you could do 50 videos a month. And when I was really pushing out a lot of content, I was getting stopped. Now I have the premium version, the $24 a year. And I love the fact that I don't have to feel pressured and look at the time and know that it's about to close down. So I would say if you're into the tutorial world and that's something that you want to do, try out the Screencastify program for free. Check it out, see what you think. It automatically, and see, it's an extension up here. It will go up as a Chrome extension on your computer. When you are ready to hit stop sharing at the bottom of the screen, you're actually going to have it put into a Google folder on your Google Drive, and you can make the choice, keep it on the drive or upload it to YouTube. So it's super easy. It automatically connects to your YouTube channel. It will upload it for you, but it will not be named. It'll be this weird name. You've got to go in then to your YouTube channel and do editing. So you would edit your video on your YouTube Creator Studio. All right, so I'm going to tell you guys, as you can see, I don't have an office. So let's talk about just a setup. I don't know how many of you have went on Wish before, but Wish is something that I use quite a bit, and I wanted to show you my orders. So for my author world, why am I ordering this? This is a photography type studio setup. Well, it's because I do not have an office space. I have this part that is my business. It's like my author corner of my bedroom. So as you can see, the bed is in the background. Now, I will say that when you make videos, be careful, because you will have people making ridiculous comments. That has happened every single time I've made a video, and I might get another one today. And so I was making a tech video with my son, and he is 11, and he was sitting, because he really didn't want to be there, but he was sitting here, and somebody was making all these very adult suggestive comments. They constantly were running in the stream, and my son was like, "Oh, Mama, you're getting a message. Let's read them." And I was, oh my gosh, I was trying to stop them. So I made the decision to go ahead and set up a photography photo backdrop studio. Until one day, hey, until I'm at Joe Rogan status, which probably will never happen, and I have my own studio and all of that, I'm working with what I have. And so it is so simple to put together. My kids put it together for me, and then I'm going to show you what else I ordered. Hopefully I can go back to my order screen and show you. So all you have to type in is like photo shoot backdrops. I'm going to just go ahead and kind of show you. So you see, there they go, $24. I love it. Comes with case, really nice quality. And then you come here and you pick you a background. And I almost picked that burgundy one, but I was actually reading the last lecture, and there was a quote in there that inspired me for my life while I was getting ready to order. And as you can see, I ordered this one. It's $8 now. I paid $15 for it, but here it is. It is the backdrop, and I love it. And we pin it up with just regular safety pins. My husband said we need to get Velcro, so that way we can Velcro it all the way across and we quit poking holes in it. But I absolutely love this. And it spreads out enough for me to have a backdrop, and it's just my brick wall. And I'm busting through these brick walls, or having my writing community friends throw me over brick walls when I get frustrated and stuck. And if you read the last lecture, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's hold the reference. And I had my writing friend Ann read it, and she loved the quote too. So she gets my brick wall. So there's me with how I run, the reasons why I do. And I like the colors. Colors go with everything. And I am not just using it for my studio. So just imagine when I go to my author festivals. I'm going to a festival in October. I'm going to be taking my stand, and I'm going to be taking my wall, and it's going to go behind me at my tent. And so when I have my banner, then I'm going to add a banner that's going to go straight across the top. And that banner is going to be like my author banner material. And then it'll bring that drop down lower. So that way it'll go all the way to the ground. So I've got plans, people. So it's for dual purpose. So when you're buying equipment, I give you that kind of task. And I challenge you to look for equipment that you'll be able to use multi-purpose. So now I want to show you what I was gifted. I was gifted this webcam, and it's the webcam I'm using now. It is a HD 1080p. That's all you need. If you start getting higher, I mean, really, that's what you got. That's what you get. If you look at the highly suggested cameras, 1080p's will come up recommended. And I have the A4 Tech. This was the one that was given to me. It looks exactly like this. It changed the way the quality of my videos looked, especially when I have time to like set up lighting and I do all of that. I'm going to talk about that next. But I'm just making this quick one to talk to you about the equipment itself. Now, my son is going to get this one off of Amazon. This Logitech, this one is a 1080p HD. This one was, you see how it says Twitch streaming? This camera, though, this shape type 1080p camera, this was also recommended by a sound guy for me that he told me that I needed to get, and it's on sale. So that's another option that you can do. So another platform that you need to consider is, do you want to do Zoom, Skype, or Google Hangouts? So I'm going to tell you my thought process on this. I have other podcasters that they use Skype. And the reason why they're using Skype is because with Skype, it's free if somebody else has Skype, and you can have a conference call with 25 people, or you can host video chat. You see that, and a lot of the podcasters are now switching over and doing that. So they're capitalizing not just on podcasting here, but they're also for audio, they're doing video. So a lot of them are using Skype. I didn't turn to Skype at the beginning. I went to Zoom. And the reason why I did Zoom is because I already had a Zoom account. I had been using it for my doctorate work. That was how I had to check in with my chair each week. So I was used to the Zoom platform. I'm probably going to end up having to switch over in the future. But right now, I'm doing the free Zoom account. Okay. My husband has suggested that I move to Google Hangouts. So you can see that you can have a video call with up to 10 people. And then you can also have a discussion with up to 100 people. And so this is for like my Patreon account. I would be doing Google Hangouts, for example, with people that are my Patreon supporters. But there is a video call with 10 people, whereas Skype has the 25 people. So think about that before you kind of get invested learning a platform. Which one do you feel like you would be able to utilize more? So as far as lighting goes, okay, so I have another YouTuber, a friend, and she has all of the fancy lighting, like studio lighting, and she has it where it has all that big umbrella, and she sets it up. And I watched her setting everything up, and here I am with 2 desk lamps and our fan going in the background, which when I make videos, I usually don't have that because it has this distracting thing. But I want to tell you, I have an LED light here that was $1 from Dollar Tree. Of course, it was $1. Okay. And that actually helped a lot with the lighting. Then I have another desk lamp on the right side, and that way I can move them and change them around, move them up. When I made a video without this Dollar Tree light, oh my gosh, it looked crazy. I do sit beside a window to get some natural lighting in as well. So, based on the time of day, I did not change up my lighting settings, and I made a YouTube video. And I felt really bad about after it was over because it looked terrible, like the quality looked bad. So what I do before I actually make podcast videos and I'm interviewing people, I come in about 30 minutes earlier, sometimes 45 minutes according to my schedule, and I set everything up. My kids are setting up the poles. We're putting up the backdrop. I'm fixing the lighting. I'm working on camera placement. I'm making sure that I have everything kind of set up. I've got my journal. I've got all my notes. I've got everything that I need. And I really spend time, doing like a practice run with the lighting because I do want to do better at how I'm presenting my videos. So this is just me like moving it. And this is what I do. I just kind of move it around and say, oh, okay, that looks better. And see how like white that is. It's like crazy. That's what I did that night on that video. Like I look completely weird. But you do not have to go out and buy huge studio lighting to start with. You can start with desk lamps. You can work your way up. And that's what I'm trying to talk with other startups. When I encourage people to start a podcast, I tell them, you don't need to go and rent out a room. You don't need to go find a place that does podcast hosting for you, and you pay them and they get a charge on that. You need to do your own work. And you can start off like that. You don't need anything super fancy. What you need is time, a commitment to putting out content on a regular basis, and just a passion for it, just to want to share. So I made excuses for a very long time, and I'm just very glad that I now have the courage, because it does take a lot of courage to get out there and make the Facebook Lives, get on YouTube more, make my presence known in the podcast community. And I'm working it. And I'm seeing the fruits of that work. And it is slow, the slow build up. None of my videos have went viral. I don't have a lot of subscribers on the YouTube channel. I know that I have to spend a lot more time investigating, how to be a better video influencer. So if you're coming to me for all of those tips, my track record on YouTube is very slow. Like I got a subscriber today and I get happy. When I get one subscriber, I get super happy. And I got a comment on a video today, super happy. And it's the small things like that. So I challenge you to investigate equipment, work with what you have now. If you don't have these cameras that you can have, these webcams, just work with your computer camera if you have that. And just start practicing. Because when I look back at my videos in 2014, I was just using my phone, and I was using YouTube Studio app online on the phone to help me with my uploads and everything. And I just talked to people, shared my message, and talked to moms, and went about my way. So now, even though that's kind of shifting into my author world and I'm being more consistent with the author videos, just go after it. You can do it. And then over time, when you start getting monetized, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch minutes. When you start getting monetized and then you start getting extra income, then you can upgrade. And that's what I've talked to my son about. When he starts Twitch streaming, yeah, you can buy all these things later. Just use what we have in the house now build yourself up. It's about content and connecting with people. And there is not a day that goes by that I do not regret starting my podcast. My podcast brings me, out of all of the platforms, it brings me the most joy and has brought me the most connection with other authors in the writing community. And I've made friends that will be my friends for a lifetime, and I've met them through online platforms. So I will tell you that as an encouragement to you, tech is great. Updating tech is wonderful. Getting the best of the best, you can go at it. But focusing on your content and just delivering it authentically with you, even if it's with no makeup and pajamas, and reaching out to people, that's where the magic happens. So I hope that this has been helpful to you guys, and I hope that it encourages you to start whatever it is that you've been putting off. Have you been wanting to start a YouTube? Have you been wanting a podcast? Have you been wanting to do tutorials and share your message? Well, I've given you some easy free ones today on how to do just that. All right. Have a blessed one, guys.